Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Patrick Pete here with you. Listen, it's been a very busy news day, a busy news weekend. We've been telling you for the last couple of days about this weather day, this first alert weather day that we put in place for tomorrow because we knew that we would have some strong storms that would be rolling through our area. We know we'd have heavy downpours, and it looks like we'll have some gusty winds as well. Now, the good news is the risk for severe weather is on the lower end. The bad news, a lot of you are getting on the roads tomorrow. A lot of you are either flying or getting out to travel to relatives, or maybe you're like us. We're going to be working through the week, and maybe you will be too. And we do think that this rain is going to be impactful. I want to go ahead and get you to the look at what we're tracking, this system that's out to the west. It has been a very active afternoon, and that's transitioning to a very active evening for a lot of folks in Mississippi. We've been tracking this area of low pressure, has a cold front and a warm front attached to it. The area in between is the warm sector, and that's typically the region that is the most unstable, and you can see that bearing out in real time. Lots of lightning, lots of polygons. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings that are active, several tornado warnings that are active, and this has actually produced some confirmed tornadoes by radar. If you see those purple polygons that pop in and out, that is indicative of what we can look on radar and 100% with accuracy determine that there is a tornado that is on the ground because it starts to send back a signal to our radar site. So we've been seeing that be the case for the last couple of hours. I want to dive in, and you can see that there are currently 3 active radar confirmed tornadoes, one east of Crystal Springs, Mississippi, one of them north and east of Brookhaven, Mississippi, and then another one that is moving through Philadelphia or just to the west of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Lots of energy out there. You can see that big red box in the background that's on the map, that is going to be a tornado watch that's in effect for a large chunk of Mississippi. And you may be wondering, hey, Patrick, we're not in Mississippi. Why are we talking about that system that's to the west? Well, that is the system that is going to be moving into our area. We've been looking at the data for the last couple of days, and we knew this was going to unfold. We do believe that those folks are getting it more intensely than we are going to get tomorrow, but we expect it to be strong enough and more widespread enough for this to be a pretty impactful day for us across not only the metro, but across North Georgia. So we look to the west to the system that is going to be moving in, pushing into our area. Meanwhile, we're dealing with lots of clouds right now at home. Those clouds will only continue to thicken up as we head into the overnight hours. We expect temperatures to be rather mild tonight because the clouds are going to essentially act as a thermal blanket and insulate us. So a little bit of moisture building in as we head into the overnight hours. We will see that continue. We're going to keep about a 20% chance of showers around for the next few hours, and then we'll elevate that as we head into the early morning hours. We've been talking about wind as well. The National Weather Service issued a wind advisory. You can see that the winds are already starting to get a bit elevated out there. 26 miles per hour wind gusts right now in Ellijay and Carrollton, 22 miles per hour wind gusts in both Rome and Athens, and we are tracking a 24 miles per hour wind gust right now in Canton. So going to be a breezy evening across the region. Just not the best driving conditions, just on its own accords. Anytime that you're on the interstates and you're driving around and the winds are whipping like that, I don't know about you, my vehicle is top heavy, so when I'm driving by an 18-wheeler or even another vehicle and the winds are gusting 20, 30, I start to wiggle and stuff. So these are things that you're going to want to keep in mind as you get out on the roadways, heading out to go and see family. Things are just going to be a bit bumpy out there. So go ahead and plan ahead for that. Maybe give yourselves a little bit more drive time. 63 degrees right now here in the city. Those winds are out of the east at 11, but the winds were gusting at about 15 a few minutes ago, so they're picking up a little bit in the city. This is a good time for you to download that First Alert weather app because while we do stream here online and we also update our website and our app all day, and we have our newscasts that are on for a large chunk of the day, whenever you're on the go and you need to know what's going on, we will be the first to let you know. That wind advisory, we pushed it out to you as soon as the National Weather Service issued it. And if there are any watches or warnings that are issued, not only for you tomorrow here in the city, but if you decide to go to Louisiana like me for the holidays, or you're going to New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, you take your app with you. There's actually a setting that it will alert you. We will alert you to any weather, inclement weather that is going to be wherever you are located. We can do that based off of your location. You turn location on in the app, and we'll alert you to all of those things, not to mention if you're driving through some of these stronger downpours or any of these warm storms, we'll be the first to let you know. Here's that hour-by-hour playbook of what we're going to expect here closer to the station. And temperatures will gradually dip into the upper 50s, and that is going to be about as mild as it gets. Those rain chances do increase as we head into the early morning hours. I expect it to be very, very messy on the roadways. 57 degrees the overnight low, the first alert for the overnight hours, because not only are we going to be dealing with that rain moving in, but the winds are going to be a little elevated as well. We're talking about southeast wind at 15, but gusting 20, 25 tonight. And then as we head into the day tomorrow, those winds could gust as high as 45. So those are the reasons that the National Weather Service issued that wind advisory. It went into effect at 7 o'clock tonight, and it will be in effect until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And these are going to be winds that are outside of thunderstorms. I know that a lot of times this is kind of tricky, because we tell you that we have rain, we have thunderstorms. Maybe there's even a severe weather risk on some of those days. And then we talk about wind advisories on top of that. And think of the wind advisory as us telling you, hey, winds are going to be possibly gusting outside of thunderstorms, up to 45 in this case. Sustained winds 15 to 25 in this case. So these are reasons for you to be weather aware as we head into the day tomorrow. Good evening. A lot of folks are actually watching us on YouTube. So if you have any specific questions about our forecast, feel free to drop a note in the chat. I don't mind addressing. I'm actually a little bit away from my actual weather computer, but there are some things that I can kind of cover if I see it in time. So feel free to drop us a note in the chat. Right now, you are looking at the first alert wind gust tracker, and these winds are going to be gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour as we head into the morning hours. So if you were planning on leaving tomorrow morning, heading west, not the best idea. If you're going to head out east, you'll probably want to leave before the rain starts so that you can at least have a head start on the rain and kind of stay ahead of it. Let's get you through what we're expecting for tomorrow, because we've mentioned that this is a first alert weather day. Widespread rain and rumbles of thunder are likely throughout the day tomorrow. We do trend drier as we head into Wednesday, cooler by Thursday, and then we're watching for some spotty showers on Friday. Here's that timeline that a lot of you are looking for. Severe weather outlooks for tomorrow. A level 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms for a large chunk of North Georgia. Look to the south and west. If you were driving down to Columbus or maybe going to see family in Montgomery, Alabama, just be aware they're at a higher risk for strong to severe thunderstorms than we are. So you're going to probably want to wait until this line pushes through, because the same storms that we were showing you moving through Mississippi, that same line is going to be pushing into their territory. Outside of that risk for strong to severe storms tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center allows us to actually dive a little bit deeper into the dynamics, and we can determine, okay, let's say, what's going on with the atmosphere? Is there going to be rotation out there? What are the lapse rates? Are the lapse rates high enough that we could see hail? All of those things. This is kind of a way for us to break this down that's just a little bit more user-friendly. And this is just going to be the tornado risk. So what we can determine is that there's about a 2% chance that there could be a tornado within 25 miles of any point that you see shaded right now in the green. And what does that mean? And I know a lot of you at home are probably thinking, oh, dude just said 2% chance of tornado. That's super low. Like, there's been times whenever there's been a 20% chance of rain and I didn't get any rain. I get it. Save your jokes for somebody else. That 2% chance of a tornado is pretty high for the risk of a tornado. You got to keep in mind that there are many, many times that we have storms that roll through and there's no risk at all. So that 2% risk is something that we at least want to put out there. That's going to be on the lower end, of course, but that means that there's at least the dynamics that are going to be capable to produce a little bit of rotation. And we're seeing some of that unfold to the west of us. So reasons for us to at least be weather aware and stay dialed in as we head into the day tomorrow. The bigger thing that we see as a threat for tomorrow will be the potential for a damaging wind gust, and that's about a 5% chance. So that is also on the lower end, but I would not sleep on it. Damaging wind gusts moves through a neighborhood and down some trees. People are out of power, maybe falls on a house or two. Thankfully, in most cases, we could see, we've seen people be okay in those situations, but we're just giving you the heads up here. Tanya asked, are we going to see trees down and a lot of power outages with the wind? So in a normal scenario where we've been really, really wet, we would be concerned about damaging wind gusts out ahead of a line of showers and storms. But because we've been so dry lately, This is going to be a lower potential for there to be wind gusts, wind damage, but the potential exists because we could see winds gusting higher than that inside of some of those isolated thunderstorms. So to answer your question, Tanya, I don't expect this to be a widespread issue, but there is at least some low-level potential out there. So we just want to mention that potential to you guys as we see it. And we're going to get to that timeline because that's going to be the most important part of this because I know y'all are all trying to plan your day. Widespread scattered showers are going to be around as folks are heading out of the doors. 6, 7 o'clock, I fully expect there to be lots of rain on radar. And some of it's going to be light, some of it's going to be moderate. You can see that there's some deeper reds here, so there are going to be pockets where this is going to be heavier, especially west of the city. But as we head later into the morning, we're going to be watching for this secondary line to coalesce. And as this line of showers and storms forms, this is going to be right along that cold front. This is where we think we could see some of the heavier downpours, and this is where those winds could kick up a little bit. This has slowed down a little bit, so I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service actually extended that wind advisory by a couple of hours at some point, either late tonight or tomorrow, bumping that to a little bit later in the afternoon, just because this line has slowed down since they've issued that initial advisory, but we'll keep you posted here. That line of showers and storms pushes to the east, and I do believe that around 5 o'clock, the heaviest of that rain will be in places like Athens, Covington, and then on the back end, there's going to be some residual moisture, but once you have a line of showers and storms move through, specifically storms, a lot of time it takes a lot of that energy out of the atmosphere, and unless you have breaks in the clouds, you don't really get redevelopment of storms that are as strong. So we do believe that that 12 o'clock push that moves us through the metro will be the heaviest line, and then anything that's on the back end will be more so nuisance and just random showers. So we'll track that. Eventually, things start to dry out. Could see some lingering showers in far east Georgia, but I think that inside of the perimeter, things start to dry out. We'll have some clouds lingering through the overnight, and actually the clouds are going to be sticking around on Wednesday, so don't expect there to be a whole lot of sunshine. Meanwhile, we talked about heavy downpours being possible, and we fully expect there to be widespread totals of 1 to 2 inches. Some locations are going to luck out and not get as much, but you can see that on this map we've queried about, 12, 15 locations, and out of that, 85% of them are over an inch. So we fully expect that most of us will pick up 1 inch to 2 inches. We'll be watching those rain rates because that's going to be very important. If it comes down fast, that's not good. We have been talking about being at a drought. Many locations in our region, roughly for the quarter, we're 5 or 6 inches behind where we should be, so we could use the rain. We just don't need it fast. So we'll be watching that. We want you to watch that and pay attention to that. Oops, my bad. New system, learning with me. But the rain is going to be an issue as well, so just be prepared for that. Meanwhile, Wednesday trends drier, but we're going to keep the clouds around. And the winds are going to be breezy out of the northwest. Another day where the sustained winds are 10 to 15, but gusting as high as 25. That means that there will be an element of chill in the air. If you have family, friends, cousins, relatives, whoever in town, just make sure that you bundle up on Wednesday afternoon because it will not be the best. I actually think we'll hit our high earlier in the day. In the afternoon, we'll be in the 50s, low to mid 50s. So be prepared for that. We'll get a little bit more sunshine as we head into Thanksgiving, and that means your afternoon temperatures Thursday will nudge northward a little bit. I expect most of us to top out in the upper 50s. Still a little bit cooler than we should be, but we will take it because it is dry. So once we get past our first alert weather day tomorrow, which is going to be a pretty damp, soggy day with the potential for there to be some gusty winds and even that low end potential for a tornado, I think that the weekend is what we're going to be looking forward to. And things do trend better for your Saturday and Sunday and even Friday. Earlier this week, we were tracking the potential for a disturbance to move through the region. It looks to be pretty weak, so we've lowered that rain chance to 30% on Black Friday. So while y'all are out shopping, getting me TVs and all the other goodies that there will be out there, it looks like the rain chances are going to be pretty limited. Just may want to bundle up. The weekend looks good, just a little cool, mainly dry, and we're looking at highs in the low 60s as most of us head back to work on Monday. So I've answered Tanya's question. Thank you so much, Tanya, for not only joining us tonight, but engaging with me in the chat. I know that there are many more of you out there because I can see the number of viewers right now. Thank you for joining us as well. There are also folks that are joining us on the Atlanta News First Plus app on Roku, anywhere else that you can get the apps for your TV. And we want to thank you guys for joining us as well. We're going to be working hard to get you the updated timing on these showers and storms, and I'm going to bring that for you on Peachtree TV at 10, and then I will have it again at 11 on Atlanta News First. I know that our news team is working a lot. I slipped into the editorial meeting earlier, and I saw that they're working on several stories. One of them, I believe, a local person who's been touched specifically by Rosalind Carter. So I think they're going to be having that update for you. And if they don't, that's why I do weather and not news. But I know that was a conversation that we were having with some sources, and we're going to bring to you the latest news, of course, and the latest weather update. So for now, I'm going to leave you all with the 7-day forecast, and I will run and grab me a little quick snack, and I will see you guys on TV in about 90 minutes. Happy Monday.